Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
All fun, you know that only the good die young. Oh, baby, I tell you, only the good die young. Only the good die young.
Welcome back. 10:38, a little bit of change right here on this 29th day of May. CJ Nasello, it's our daily show. Lev in the studio for Pollinator Day.
Yes, sir.
How are we looking?
Looking great. We have some new partners joining us for that day. We're going to have some booths set up. Our pollinator garden is growing rapidly, and there's a lot of bugs out there, and I'm really excited for it.
So take us through some of the things that you're seeing already out on the grounds.
Yeah, so we put in about 9 or 10 different native species in our little pollinator garden that we're building, and I'm seeing wild bees. I'm seeing different kinds of dragonflies.
Are they pollinators?
Yes, they are. They collect pollen on their legs, and they visit different flowers. So you'd be surprised at what's a pollinator, but birds are pollinators too, technically speaking. So because they carry seeds around and they deposit seeds in different places.
What's the best pollinator for our area?
I don't think there's a specific pollinator that's the best, but I'd say wild bees probably pollinate the most plants, although there are some plants that are only pollinated by beetles. There are some plants that are only pollinated by water insects. It just really depends. But as a genus, as wild bees probably do the most as far as pollinating.
It's really fascinating to me, all the different things that can pollinate a plant, like bats could too, correct?
Yeah, they can. Bats, I actually looked this up while we were after the last time we spoke.
Nice.
And many species of bat actually, even, there's a lot of, in South America, fruit-eating bats. And specifically for our area, we have bats that roost in trees, and they'll carry acorns around. Oh, not acorns, I'm sorry, but different pollens from different trees around. So they'll pollinate. You'd be surprised at what's pollinating our forests.
Well, and that's what amazes me too, is because and I'm not a botanist or anything, and don't know anything about this, but just a little bit when I was in school is that how hybrids came to be in hybrid plants.
Yeah.
Did wild animals ever have anything to do with any type of natural process when it comes to that?
Hybridization?
Yeah.
I'm sure oaks readily hybridize. A lot of oak species will hybridize. Fish hybridize too, especially sunfish. So in nature, there are examples of that.
Yeah.
A lot of the hybrid plants that we have are actually garden variety plants that people plant in their gardens. A lot of, going back to oaks, a lot of the red oaks that you see on someone's lawn are actually a mixture of a bunch of different species.
I'll be darned.
So closely related. But yeah, in nature that does happen too.
So all I know is that Dalton Brown's reporting that botanists, beekeepers, and more are in store for Pollinator Day at Pere Marquette, which is just coming up on June the 22nd.
Yes, sir.
And this is really cool. I mean, as you guys keep creeping closer and closer to this, it's got to be exciting at this point.
I'm ready. I hope that this is the first year we're doing this, and this is my first larger event that I'm trying to put on, and so we'll see where it goes. But I hope that this is just a day that everybody comes to the park and talks to our native scientists and, and learns more about the ecology of the area during a time of year that everything is awake and thriving and plants are growing, and it's just a good time to be in the woods.
Well, and honestly, man, it seems like the last time I talked to you, the event's grown even further. Like, it seems like more hands are really getting behind this.
I'm really excited for our partners that are joining us for that week.
And fill us in on those partners again.
We have the St. Clair Beekeeping Association.
That's a big group.
It is. I'm really excited. We have one of their beekeepers coming to do a presentation. He's bringing his bee truck, as he called it. We have...
I wouldn't want to rear end that guy.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
So he's coming.
Yeah, we have folks from the Army Corps of Engineers coming who are going to be talking about their pollinating efforts. And I believe there are going to be some folks coming from the native pollinator association that we have here in the state.
Well, and what I think's really cool about, just pollination and pollinators in general is that this area, specifically just because I don't drive into Edwardsville or Granite too much, but just in Alton, seeing folks that are really trying to have that wild, that natural, that native garden, selection just somewhere in their yard, even if it's a rise up, they're trying to bring in some native species for those pollinators, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, and Midwest we have such immense diversity when it comes to lawn flowers and different plants that you can plant.
Do we really? Because people say that, but I didn't know if that's
just extreme. And
wow.
And I think that a lot of them, for example, ragweed's a really cool plant. We have different violets. We have different milkweeds. All these different really cool plants that you can throw into your yard will do 10 times better than lawn grass. You won't have to cut your yard, and you might see some really cool and interesting animals and insects that you've never seen before just because you planted those in your yard.
Well, I keep thinking about this, and I'm 6 to 1/2 a dozen the other, because I have a spot, because my house was built so damn weird, and I bought it last year. I'm like, what do I do? It's like a foot wide, maybe a foot and a half, and it's like 20 feet long. I'm like, that'd be cool to put some native wild, plants.
Coneflower. Coneflower is my favorite plant.
Really?
Well, my favorite
Fill me in.
wildflower.
What is coneflower?
It is a photophoric plant or photophoric flower, which means that when it grows, it actually follows the path of the sun. It's an annual plant. It has these beautiful, large, showy cone flowers. They smell really, really good. They're super hardy. They grow. If you put them in a field, they'll grow. And pollinators absolutely love them.
Here is the cone. Is this the coneflower?
Purple coneflower. That's it.
So what's the darn thing? And I know we're off topic. I'll talk pollinator day in a second. We got time to play with, folks. But I've seen this where someone goes out in the field and they eat this, like they chew on this black or brown little nub off of a plant, and it expands, and it's all this cotton and.
Oh.
What is that?
That's cotton. What do they call them? I don't remember the common name.
Yeah.
But it's a reed plant that grows on the cattail.
Okay, yeah.
Cattail. So they grow on the edges of ponds, and they have millions and millions and millions of seed heads, and they are actually wind dispersed, and that's why they have so many.
Makes sense.
And so when they're ready for their seeds to disperse into the wind, the little fibers that connect the seed head to the stalk of the plant loosen, and the seeds get blown into the wind. But when you take a bite out of it, it just expands and expands and expands.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
These people are gagging on those damn
It's very,
things.
very bad. I've done it. It's not fun.
I probably
do it once.
It only takes about 3 weeks to get that water back in your mouth, I'm guessing. Well, as we're getting back to Pollinator Day, and I think that's, just talking about plants a little bit, that's a good thing too, because, sometimes when I think of pollinators, I just think of bees. And, there's a whole process to this and all many, so different angles.
Think about it. Every flower has a pollinator.
Yeah.
Every pollinator has plants that it eats. Some pollinators only eat or only consume the nectar or pollen of a single plant. Some are generalists, and so there's just so much out there, and there's so much we don't even know. You could spend your whole life studying one interaction between one plant, one insect, and not even scratch the surface. And so we live in a very complex world, especially here in the Midwest.
Well, we definitely do. And that's why I think, just to go out there and learn a little bit more, and even if you know a little bit about, local bees and a few of those type of pollinators, to learn about some of the plants you can put in your yard to help their populations keep growing, because we need bees.
We do. And not just honeybees, we need our wild bees.
So what's the difference? Because I've heard wild bees a couple of times in past conversations.
So wild bees, so honeybees are not native to the United States. So the honeybees are native to Europe. So we don't have any native honeybees in the U.S., I believe.
That's wild.
Our bees, when we talk about bees, we're talking about a whole family of insects. And there are thousands and thousands of species of wild bees. Not all bees sting. What we classify as a bee has to do with the number of wings an insect has, its body structure. And these insects are everywhere. They're usually tiny, and they pollinate our plants. Honeybees don't actually, they do pollinate, but they're not, when people talk about save the bees, they're talking about wild bees,
Okay.
not honeybees.
So that makes sense because I've been so confused by that because number one, I didn't realize that honeybees weren't native to the United States. That's interesting. And so are we talking like carpenter bees, bumblebees?
Bumblebees are. Bumblebees
okay.
are they're in the genus Bombus, and there's about, I think it's over 1,000 species native to the U.S. And bumblebees are native to the U.S., but they don't produce honey.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they live in colonies, but they're smaller.
How do you guys identify? Because obviously, you know, there's 1,000 different types of, there's 1,000 different subspecies, or the correct term, you know, whatever you call it.
Semantics.
Yeah, you know, but how do you guys identify that? Could you, like, let's say you or anyone else at the team go, oh, well, that is this subsection of the bumblebee.
So it depends. When it comes to insects,
yeah.
I'm not as good as in plants. I can tell you family, but there are so many insects out there. I mean, some species differences are as much as like for example, the rusty patch bumblebee, which is an endangered species, and just a classic North American common. Sorry, not honeybee, bumblebee. So rusty patch bumblebee, common North American bumblebee. The difference between the two species is a small little brown patch on the back of the rusty bumblebee.
That's insane. You know, it's just those little nuances because, you know, it was when I was a kid and, you know, we lived on the bluff, so I was always in the woods and we had dial-ups. There's no point in staying inside, you know, so we'd go out and, you know, buddies and I'd grab airsoft guns and, you know, have a little war and then go walk around. But you walk around and you see all these insects, you're like, oh man, I just found a new insect, you know, and you realize that's just a subspecies of a certain insect that was found hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, you don't realize the diversity that's really out there.
Even in Illinois, we're discovering new species of insect.
Are you really?
Every year. I mean, there are
I'll be darned.
insects that we don't even know about. There, I mean, we've not in the North America, but they found recently a species of centipede that lives, I think it's like 150 meters underground. So we find that stuff all the time.
It's just that stuff that amazes me. You think in 2024 you know it all, and you realize you don't even know a tenth of what's going on underneath or everywhere else. Now, what about water plants? I find that fascinating. Is the pollination process the same?
I am not too familiar on water plants, but I know that, for example, water lilies, they flower above the surface, and so they are, you know, pollinated. I believe those are actually pollinated by dragonflies.
Okay.
And they land on the stalk and fly to different lily pads. But the concept is probably similar. And I know that there are some species of, like, for example, seaweeds that are, you know, dispersed by fish. But I said I'm not too familiar in how aquatic ecosystems work.
Yeah, no, and not to keep putting you on the spot. Lev's not going to be one answering all the questions on the 22nd, but it's pretty cool that I can pretty much ask you anything and there's an answer. I like this. Nate, I gave Nate some good props. I said Lev's a good guy.
Thank you. I try.
But if you're coming to see Pollinator Day, find out what all the buzz is about and take part in this. So there's going to be some guided hikes.
There's going to be some guided hikes.
And now, are you going to be able to see some of the new native plants that are being
Absolutely.
put in?
So they're by our visitor center. So I actually had a group of wonderful students from Jerseyville Middle School come out and help me plant them. And I've been, you know, weeding and maintaining, and it's growing. And you can just stand at the base of that little 20 by 20 foot section of dirt, and you'll see things you'll never see. I saw a new insect today I've never seen before. Spent about 25 minutes staring at it. So it's going to be interesting.
Sounds like a good morning.
It was a great morning.
Nice. And now, honey tasting. Is there a difference in taste between bees?
Not between bees, between the plants that they get the honey from.
Really?
So you get, like, you talk about clover honey, wildflower honeys, different honey species, different plant species produce different flavors of honey.
Oh,
So,
damn. I did not know that.
Yep.
So does it make it more bitter, sweet, or does it have
It
really...
has all different kinds of notes to it. So your wildflower honeys and clover honeys are usually lighter, more delicate tasting, and then it goes all the way to the darkest, most robust and bitter honey I've tasted is from buckwheat. It's almost black. It's thick. It's very bitter. And
like a resin almost?
Yeah, but it still has that honey sugar and sweetness to it. But it's bitter.
Wow.
It's good to mix into coffee.
Okay.
So, there's all different kinds of honeys out there.
Now, I have a question for you.
Yes,
Would you
sir.
try some of that honey they found in ancient Egypt, in those tombs that they said
Absolutely.
Would you still eat it?
Honey doesn't go bad. It crystallizes.
We learned
So
that today.
Sugar crystals.
It was on our fun fact sheet.
Oh, awesome.
I was thinking about that today. I'm like, would I try it? So you would.
Absolutely.
Man, that's awesome. And now arts and crafts going to be on display too?
We're going to have some arts and crafts for the
Fill me
younger
in.
kids. We're going to do, I'm thinking about some origami, maybe have the kids go outside and draw their favorite bugs. I might even find some bugs and have them pin them to some those little foam cards and take home your own bug kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just to make sure that the bugs that I take are ones that I can take, of course.
Well, you know what I think's cool? There's a lady, and she is so wonderful. She does River City Oddities, Kaylin Gaither. And she goes out in the woods and finds a bunch of, carcasses and pins them and makes really cool jewelry out of them with little with little mushrooms too. And there's really cool things out there like that.
Yeah, the woods are an excellent place, and you'll never ever know what you're going to find.
100%. And now, what live animals are going to be coming down?
We're still working on that.
Oh,
For now, 100% there's going to be live bees.
that's cool.
Yeah, very different kinds. But we're still figuring out the last steps in those live animals.
Did you see the guy that built the beehive in his house?
I did not.
Well, I got to take a quick break and show you that. I'll show everybody. He literally built it to where it goes into his living room, and it's mounted on his wall, and it's like huge. It's incredible. Mike,
Our beehive at Pere Marquette is inside, and the bees actually come in through it too.
yeah.
Yep, and you can come open the beehive and take a look and watch them do the little bee stuff.
Is it healthier that way for you guys just to clean it and all that, or not clean it but just manage it?
Well, in the summer, in the winter time when it's cold, we can keep the bees somewhere warm.
Makes sense.
And then when it's you can just open it up, take a look. It's I think the bees like it. It's always warm in there, so.
Now, that's cool. Let me take a break. It's 10:54. We'll come back, more Pollinator Day, all that good stuff. And we'll come back with more right after this.
When I got in a car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got showing.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Alrighty, welcome back. 10:56. Hold on, look at this darn thing. So this is in a guy's house, okay? That's the tube that goes in there, and so Lev, they're going in this tube. How many? I mean, look at the traffic, Jim. You thought 270 was bad. Number one, good luck getting into this, and I don't even know what the guy's YouTube channel is, but he gets further and further into this video here, and look at how big. So what are these things right here you were pointing out?
So those are basically the hive is getting so big that they're starting to build their comb onto the glass. And earlier in the video when I was looking at it, I saw things called queen cells, and those are different sized cells that they feed special digestive enzymes, I believe, too, that produce queens or more queens for the colony. And then the one queen that is birthed will take a swarm of bees and find a new home. And the previous queen will either stay or she'll be killed and eaten and replaced with another queen.
That's just incredible. Look at how this ends, though. Here, let me just skip forward a little bit. This is like just a little piece for you guys here, and it goes into his house, into the beehive, and then he has a little tube here on the end that shows it going outside of the house. Now, the neighbors have got to be angry. There's got to be a mass. Look at that. Could you imagine? You know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have it, but if I'm a neighbor, I'm like, hey, man, you just make sure those bees stay over in your yard there, pal. You know, it doesn't look like a rural area to me. What do you think? That's pretty cool. Is that like your guys's?
Yeah, his is a lot larger.
Really?
But, that's very similar to what we have going on.
That's awesome, man. So getting back to the day, let's go through it all. So it starts at 10 a.m.?
It starts at 10 a.m. We're going to have our guided hike some point in the morning. I'm going to just wait till I have a good crowd. We're going to have booths set up where you can go talk to our partners that are coming, and they're going to have their own material, and they're going to bring some cool plants, some seeds, I believe, to give out, and you can just ask any questions you want. Then we're going to have a presentation around 11:30 with our local beekeeper, and he's going to bring his bee truck and some honey, and it's going to be awesome.
That's
and then
really cool.
arts and crafts will be available the entire time. Going to go till 1 o'clock, so 3 hours, and we're just going to have all this opportunity to learn about what we have going on here in Illinois.
There you go. And, I mean, it's just a good opportunity to learn a whole bunch of stuff, too, and it's for all ages, correct?
Everybody's welcome.
And now, for the guided hike, just always good to clarify, not ADA compliant on that hike, is it?
It's not going to be,
okay.
Unfortunately. But
just want to make sure we
yeah,
clarify.
if anybody ever wants me to go with them on something ADA compliant, I can make that happen too.
Really good to know.
Awesome.
And with that being said, if you want to learn about some of the native plant species that you can have in your own backyard and attract some of those native pollinators, or just learn more about bees and pollinators in general, head on over for a couple of hours of family fun at Pere Marquette State Park on the 22nd of June.
22nd of June.
That was on the top of my head, man. I was getting nervous there at the end. But, Lev, always great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You know, I talked to Nate earlier. Now I get Lev now, and who knows what tomorrow will bring me. With that being said, we're out of time. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Thursday morning, hitting us on the 30th day of May. But until then, just try your best to stay out of jail.